Hi, I'm Dan Slick, Pitmaster for Slick's Big Time Barbecue. Through my travels and barbecue competitions and events, I've picked up on some secrets and tips that I want to share with you today that'll help you championship barbecue every time you grill it up. Let's get cooking. All right, we're going to show you today how we do our Texas style whiskey barbecue sauce tri-tip. Tri-tip's one of my favorite cuts of meat. I like it a lot better than a brisket. It's leaner, it's got a lot more flavor. It's almost in between a brisket and a steak, a nice steak. And I don't believe you have to leave the fat on, just like we take fat off of our pork shoulders. I trim the fat cap off of the tri-tip and cook it just with our Slick's Big Time beef rub. And start with the edge here, and I trim this fat back. I get this going, and it's real easy to trim off. As you can see right here, it just peels off. You just have to have a nice sharp boning knife, and we take that fat back and just keep trimming it until we get a nice chunk that you don't need that on your food. All right, we've got that fat pretty much off of there. Just a little bit of left on there that go right in for flavor. Both sides are good to go, and this is ready for the rub. Now I use Slick's Big Time Barbecue beef rub. We get a nice liberal Slick's Big Time Barbecue beef rub into the meat. Really get the edges, get it all nice and spiced up. The rub's in there. I'll let that set up sometimes for up to 2 hours, even overnight, before I put it on the grill. And then this is going to cook for about an hour and a half, hour and 45, and we're going to finish it off with our Snake River Stampede whiskey barbecue sauce. Okay, it's been about an hour and a half for these tri-tips. We're going to put a little glaze on them. Got our whiskey barbecue sauce, Snake River Stampede style. We just drizzle a little bit on there. I like to use a paintbrush. Just paint it right on. Get a good nice soak on it. Hit the edges, hit the sides. Get both of these covered. A little paint. Don't be afraid to splatter some barbecue sauce. It is barbecue. And we'll be back about 10-15 minutes. In about 10 minutes, these things are starting to come up to temperature. We'll flip them over. Give another quick glaze to them. Snake River Stampede whiskey barbecue sauce glaze. Nothing better on beef. Get both of these nice and good. We got the edges. You want to hit it. Every bite getting some of that sauce. All right, these are now come to temp. We're ready to pull these off. Like to let them rest for about 10 minutes before we cut. Anytime you use beef, you definitely want to let that rest. I like to throw one more last little bit of glaze on my top side here. Just give it a little extra slather. Hit it with the brush. Hit it over there nice and even. I'm going to let those rest. We're going to come back. Can't wait to taste it. Okay, our tri-tip's ready to cut. We've let it rest for about 10 minutes. Very important for beef to let it rest so the juices stay in there and don't flow out every time you make the first cut. Also, it's very important on tri-tip to cut it against the grain. When you see the grain of the meat, you want to make yourself a mark. I cut the tip off so I know which way we want to cut this. I love to cut this beef thin slices. Nice and thin, bite size. As I mentioned, I pull this at about 140, so my outside tips of the tri-tip are going to be more medium well done. And as I get to the center, for the people who love a rare cut or a medium rare cut, they're going to get that. Look at those juices flow right there when you cut that meat. Look at that. Got a nice smoke ring on it. Pulls right apart. Nice and easy. That has the best flavor of all the beef I ever cook right there.